You'd agree with me, there are some teachings that our parents inculcated in us that has made us made mistakes in life and come to agree that it's actually a wrong teaching. Yeah. And most of those teachings is more or less like a common knowledge, a common thing that is being shared around by most traditional parents here in Nigeria. But this very particular teaching is actually what I want to talk about. This very teaching has to do with the girls. This very teaching has actually contributed to the reason why so many girls are single mothers today. And I think if we correct that impression, correct that issue so that our young mothers and our young parents can actually leave that kind of teaching outside the training of their kids and use a better version of teaching. Not that our parents didn't try, but that is their level of understanding of how they should go or how they should explain things to us for us to understand. And please, when I mean single mothers, I'm not including everybody. I'm not including the single mothers by widowhood. I'm not including the single mothers by way of divorce. No, please. I'm only including single mothers that got pregnant and became mothers unintentionally, unprepared, without having the consequences in mind. Unprepared in such a way that they never had any commitment with this person, or they never understood the definition. They didn't get the picture clear of what they were into before it happened. Those are the single mothers I'm including in the picture, not everybody. When a girl is growing up under the watch of the parents and she's about to move into the teenage age, before that, at that stage, most parents do explain sex in a very funny way. They will tell you, don't allow any man to touch you. If a man touch you, get belly, you'll be pregnant. That is the common thing that is being taught by our parents. Or not only that, our parents establish that they let it live with the person till they die. And that is the reason why most of our girls grow up with that fear of sex. They grow up without that understanding that sex is this. You can only discipline yourself from it through this way. They grew up to see it as something that is totally abominable, rather than seeing it as something that you can actually avoid for this very consequence. I'm not saying that teaching is wrong. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it should be grouped according to age. If you have a young girl and she's not yet to go into her teens, what you should do is not to get pregnant for who are not their husbands. At that very stage, you think that they don't know anything, that teenage age thing, they know past you. So all you need to be telling them is, don't get pregnant for somebody who is not your husband. And it doesn't limit to husbands alone. Tell them not to get pregnant for anybody that they are not in form of commitment with. Any form of commitment, serious commitment actually. Common understanding that you are into this with this person, something that is defined. Please do not. As a parent who have young boys at home, you are expected to advise your young men as well. Once they reach teenage age, familiarize them with the concept of commitment. Teach them the concept of commitment. Make them understand not to impregnate anyone they are not in any form of commitment with. Make them understand the consequences of impregnating someone they are not in any form of commitment with. Tell them about their fatherly roles in the future. Instill the idea of having a wife in the later years. Explain the concept of a wife. Explain the concept of commitment and all what have you, in order for them to understand that impregnating somebody that doesn't have any form of commitment with them have consequences. What you are doing this period as a parent is correcting them and helping their future, because these mistakes are very costly. You as a parent and you as a full-blown adult as well, understanding that sex at this point in their life is almost inevitable, they will still have it, whether you like it or not. And also knowing that at this stage, they will almost leave you to go find themselves. So they are almost like being independent, and at this point you wouldn't know where they are and you wouldn't know what they are doing. So what you need to do is make them not go into the path that would jeopardize their future and put them in a way that will make costly mistakes in their lives. With this, we can actually reduce the number of single mothers, because I notice that we have more single mothers than single fathers. You see that the equation is not balanced in any way, because lately I noticed that a lot of disagreement is actually emanating from the Single Mothers Association, which I understand their grievances. The responsibility of a complete packaged parent is very heavy, let alone a single mother or a single parent. Please, we can actually reduce that. We can see the burden, we can see the weight on most of you, and in order for us to cut this thing, let's save ourselves certain discussions again in the future by advising our young girls and also advising our young boys. It's going to go a long way, because I understand that kids absorb most of the information they see, and most of the information they hear. The pattern and the path most of us chose today, living independently in our different places, can be directly connected to our upbringing. Our upbringing has direct effect on how we live in our different places. The future is as near as it seems far. So the earlier we start correcting this impression and start saving our children from making mistakes upon mistakes, and it compares with those that has never been corrected before, please, let's start settling this and correcting this impression one after the other.